Hello everyone, I just got a chance to see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 early, thanks to Walmart. My family and I went. We really enjoyed this one. This will not contain any spoilers, so I'm not going to spoil the film. But it does follow Fallout. Christopher McQuarrie comes back, and another superb entry from him. You know, ever since Jack Reacher or that car chase, I always wondered what Mission Impossible would be like. And we had that chance with Rogue Nation. He proved himself again with Fallout, and with Dead Reckoning Part 1 and soon to be Part 2. One thing I love is that the first four films are done by different directors, and while I do kind of miss seeing each film have its own flavor, Christopher McQuarrie has still made these films feel different and distinct on their own. So even though it does continue and has a certain kind of tone with it, each film feels very different. And this film is really kind of a throwback to the late Connery, early Roger Moore, James Bond films. Something about this Mission Impossible reminded me a lot of James Bond, but it also has many nods to the original 1996 film. You know, after 5 years in the pandemic, it was great seeing Tom Cruise on the big screen return as Ethan Hunt. And the stakes are higher than ever. The cast returns, of course. We have Luther, played by Ving Rhames, who's always awesome in these movies with Tom Cruise. He's been there with him since the beginning. Simon Pegg as Benji. And then we get Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Faust. She still kicks ass and takes names. The best Bond girl to never be in a Bond film, I would say. And we also have some new faces and some old familiar faces make a return. Starting with Henry Czerny as Kittredge. I forgot how much I miss Kittredge. There's some great nods to the first Mission Impossible. Even down to some dialogue where he's just like, I understand you're very upset, Ethan. He's like, I'm not upset, Kittredge. And I love that. The way it's shot is very similar to the 1996 aquarium restaurant scene. We also have Haley Atwell as a fresh face, as a new character, Grace, in addition to Isaiah Morales as Gabriel. Ooh, is he a force to be reckoned with here? He's been one of my favorite villains in TV, and film, but Movado and From Dusk Till Dawn, you get Slade Wilson in Titans, and now Gabriel. And it's crazy because he's fought some of my favorite women. Santanico Pandemonium with Eiza Gonzalez, Donna Troy, played by Connor Leslie, and of course Ilsa Faust, Rebecca Ferguson. And we also have Carrie Elwes. Gabriel has his assassin Paris, who's very cool. She kind of has a henchwoman vibe that you see, again, like in James Bond, but the mission in this one is very different. Pretty much this submarine goes under. The beginning's kind of like Hunt for Red October, and we find out that the Russians have made this artificial intelligence, what's later known as the Entity. It becomes self-aware. And there's these two keys that are shaped like a cross that come together that make a safe lock. Whoever has that key has control of this AI that has gone rogue. So the movie starts out with these different nations and world leaders trying to get this device. Ethan Hunt has a mission. He accepts it, but he realizes that it's too dangerous of a weapon to be used by any one person or government. He wants to destroy it. And we get all these different factions coming together going after this one thing. This key is pretty much the MacGuffin of the film. And again, this is part one of a two-part story. You can feel that. This film clocks in at around 2 hours and 45 minutes, but I was excited. I was on the edge of my seat from start to finish. It went by so incredibly fast. I mean, when a movie's good and justifies its length, that's the greatest thing in the world. Bring on part two already. Seriously. Tom Cruise is at his finest here. The practical sets with the action set pieces are nothing short of incredible. This is just crazy what they did during COVID. Seeing the car chases, that motorcycle stunt, that trailer did not do it justice. When you see the reason why he does that and the specific context of it, it's just, oh my God, I can't believe that did that for real. I was on the edge of my seat, let me tell you. The train scene reminded me again a lot of 1996 Mission Impossible. There's many cool nods. We get many revelations about Ethan's past pre-IMF. And this has some twists and turns, some suspense. I haven't felt this much suspense since the first film, really. This film is a love letter to the De Palma Mission Impossible. And overall, it leaves things off in an interesting way for Dead Reckoning Part 2. And I'm just curious to see how it's going to end. They said they have more ideas for films, but this really feels like part one of a two-part conclusion. It really does. It just has that Infinity War Endgame, Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolutions vibe about it. Something about this feels like it's nearing the end. I'm okay with more Mission Impossible if they can be as consistent. Me personally, I still think Fallout is the best one, and I'd probably put the first Mission Impossible just a little bit over this, but this is probably in league with like Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol, most definitely. I probably change how I feel about it once I see the second part of the film, but it is an isolated film, so you're not going to feel chipped going to it. It is its own film. It is Mission Impossible 7. The next one will be MI8. And I just love seeing this mission, and Ethan, again, kind of going rogue against all these other entities that are after him after this one thing, and then the relationship he has with Ilsa is highlighted more in this, how he has to kind of welcome this new character of Grace and what her story has. Seeing the White Widow return was also an added plus, but Gabriel, oh man, I really got some like GoldenEye vibes with like Alec Trevain and James Bond, but with this, with Gabriel and Ethan Hunt. You can tell there's a history there that even Luther and Benji do not know about. And that's something that's very cool. It's very rare for a series to be on its 7th installment and still feel this fresh and still be this good. Some elements with like the rogue elements and stuff and devices are feeling a little derivative, but it hasn't gone like Fast X, you know. It hasn't gone Fast and Furious. It hasn't jumped the shark yet. It does have a bit more humor than one suspects. Again, like I said, it reminded me of a Roger Moore Bond film, but there's also some dark elements that are probably the darkest of any Mission Impossible film entry. But this film is pretty relevant and scary at times, questioning what the capabilities of AI are and how it can be misused and weaponized to spread misinformation and cause all-out war. That's something that's very relevant right now, and like, what is the truth? The truth is whatever someone in power makes it to be to control the future, you know? And that's something that's very interesting. The analog in me definitely supports Ethan Hunt taking down AI. It was a blast. So if I had to give it a score, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 and an A. It is a superb film, a mission you should definitely accept. The cast and crew have done an amazing job crafting this. It's a miracle that we saw a Mission Impossible film, that they got it done during the COVID pandemic. I never thought this would happen. You know, these films were supposed to come out in 2020 and 2021. We would have already had MI8 out. I cannot wait to see what part 2 has, but Tom Cruise, man, you're the man. And he's a last movie star. And it's been an honor seeing Ethan Hunt. I've been a fan of Mission Impossible since I was 5 years old, seeing the first film on VHS in 1996. And I've grown up with him, and it's been something with my family seeing the films ever since part 2 in theaters. And I've kind of grown up with the films like many of you out there, and it's just something that's just amazing, you know. This is like probably what my dad felt like when he saw Connery's James Bond when he was a young man. That's what I feel like here with Tom Cruise. He's like that. Ethan Hunt is like what James Bond was for my parents, you know. Mission Impossible is great, but it's a series that has honored many elements of the TV show and has just propelled it into something even more. And I cannot wait to see what Mick Hugh and Tom Cruise have in store for the conclusion. Absolutely see this on the biggest screen you can, and I'm going to buy this on 4K Blu-ray. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to check out these other Mission Impossible related videos for more content. Let me know if you want to have a spoiler review. Till next time.